What's good with you? It's your boy 2A and LA, and as always, fam, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes is just my personal opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, fam, I should go ahead and tap that like button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Come on in. You can join the congregation by smashing that subscribe button and requesting all post notifications. And if you are an existing supporter of this channel, bam! I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. You are the reason this channel is anything. Alright, fam, before we get this episode rolling, just a couple of disclaimers. I do not sell firearms, nor do I promote the sale of firearms or accessories or anything that would constitute a violation of YouTube community guidelines. Any reviews that I do on firearms or accessories are just that. They are for review purposes only. And if I reference the gun manufacturer or the company that happened to supply the product, I am just referencing that for disclosure purposes. Alright? Now, fam, look. If you are not a member of the 2A in LA fan club, I do not know what you are doing at this point in time. As a member of the fan club, you receive unreleased content. You will receive content early. You become automatically eligible for all the giveaways that we do in our bi-weekly live streams, fam. Look. I believe I offer some of the best giveaway opportunities on YouTube. So make sure you're a member of the fam club. It's only $2.99 a month. Just click on that join button down below. And if you are interested in any of the 2A in LA merchandise, just hit that QR code in the corner. You see it. You see it right there. That will take you to the 2A in LA channel. Also, you can sign up to participate in a lot of our giveaways there. So make sure you hit that QR code. All right, that's it. Now let's get back into the episode. All right, fam, let's get this episode rolling. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have been thinking about getting a Cabot in my collection now for a really long time. It's just that most Cabots are kind of 1914s. They're very ornate, not really my jam. Most of them are display pieces, and I like to shoot my guns. And so when Cabot dropped a double stack 2011, I was like, okay, now we're talking. And you know, because I'm in California, it took a long time to source one, but finally picked mine up. Of course, outfitted with that SRO and Mod Light, fam. I think it's a very attractive gun. This was definitely like a box checker. I think, look, I never expected this gun to be an Infinity or a Venom or a Rafferty or a Hayes. It was more like, just as a collector, there are certain guns that check boxes. And this was one that it hadn't been checked. I didn't have a Cabot in the collection. I also surprisingly don't have a Nighthawk in the collection. Again, shot Nighthawks plenty of time. It's inevitable that I'll check that box. I don't think Nighthawks are an Infinity or Rafferty or Venom or Hayes, but good guns, but more iconic brands, right? And you want to have those iconic brands in your collection. So I was able to scratch the itch and check that box with the Cabot. But look, you guys don't care about kind of, you know, me checking boxes on the collection. You wanted to know how good this gun is, right? So let's hop right into the review. All right, fam, first up, fit and finish. I can tell you this, the gun is well made. Cabot didn't disappoint relative to that. The gun is perfectly sprung. Slide to frame fit is very well done. Kind of grip to frame fit is well done. The barrel fitment is solid. So all the tolerances are really well done. It is DLC coated. Fam, look, Cabot does a good job. They have a reputation for really having quality fit and finish. Of course, the gun is ported. Is it Venom level, Haze level, Rafferty level? No, but it is very, very, very well done. And I'll go ahead and I'll put up the specs there for you so you can have them. But fit and finish, we're going to give this a 14 out of a possible 15. All right, fam. Next up, reliability. So I put about 1,000 rounds through this gun. I had 0 malfunction. The gun ran incredibly reliable. And I was expecting that coming from Cabot. Anybody that I talked to who owns the Insurrection has attested to the reliability, and my experience was very much consistent with everything that I have heard. I ran a lot of different ammo through it. I ran some 115 grain, some 124 grain. I ran some 147. I did some jacketed hollow points. It was flawless in terms of reliability. So for reliability, we're going to give it 15 out of a possible 15. All right, let's get into durability. So all steel guns, steel frame, steel grip, steel slide, DLC coated. Look, this gun is built like a tank. It's a heavy gun, but it's well weighted. The weight is well distributed. I think it's a very, very durable gun. You take care of it, it will take care of you. It is built to last durability. We're going to give it a 15 out of a possible 15. All right, fam. Next up, trigger. Now, look, you guys know your boy is a trigger snob. You see it's got that kind of rounded trigger. Now, normally I like a skeletonized trigger. Normally I like a flat face trigger. But I will say that I think aesthetically this trigger goes very well with the firearm. I'll go ahead and I'll put the pull weight up here so you have it. But there's very little take up. You're essentially at the wall. The wall is clear and defined. Crisp, clean break. Reset. Look, fam, I always say the sign of a good trigger is having a short take up, a clear defined wall, a crisp break, and a short reset. This trigger checks all the boxes. Is it an Atlas trigger? I wouldn't say it's that. Definitely not an Infinity trigger. Feels like kind of a red dirt trigger. Feels like that. So I'm going to go ahead for a trigger and give this a 14 out of a possible 15. All right, fam. Next up, accuracy. So we've got a 5-inch flush and crown bull barrel. The gun, as I mentioned earlier, is ported. I found it to be very, very accurate. From 15 yards, I was getting very tight groups. I'll go ahead and put up footage if I have accuracy testing available. So you guys can check that out. But I felt like the gun was very accurate. It was able to maintain decent accuracy at higher levels of speed. I think, and we'll get into ergonomics momentarily, but I thought the grip is good and that aided in the accuracy. So for accuracy, we're going to give the gun a 9 out of a possible 10. All right, next up, ergonomics. So I like the aesthetics of the grip. It feels good. It has enough texture to allow you to get a good placement on it, a good hold on the gun. But It's definitely not a cheese grater type of grip. So if you're somebody who likes a really aggressive grip, and I know a lot of people do, this is probably not the grip for you, but for me, it was just fine. My biggest complaint is that it has a grip safety on it. I'm not carrying this gun. This is not a self-defense gun for me, and so I would prefer, particularly at this price point, to have a gun that has a pinned grip safety. But ergonomics, I think, are fine. They're good. We're going to go ahead and we're going to give it a 9 out of a possible 10 for ergonomics. All right, fam, so these next two categories we're going to kind of lump together. Aftermarket support and maintenance and upkeep. Look, more and more 2011s are coming on the market daily. More and more firms are creating products that can support the 2011 platform. Although I will say there's really not much you need to do when you've got a gun like this. There's nothing I would really change other than changing out that grip safety. Would I have preferred it maybe if there was a base plate? I would have. Would I have preferred it if there was a flat face trigger? But nothing is worth really changing the gun, like I said, except for the grip safety. So there's not much you need to do relative to this gun. And then relative to maintenance and upkeep, look, it's 2011, every 1,000 rounds or so, break it down, keep it clean, you'll be just fine. Aftermarket support, 4 out of 5. Maintenance and upkeep, 4 out of 5. All right, next up, affordability. So I'll go ahead and I'll put the MSRP up there for this gun. And look, it is not an inexpensive gun, although by Cabot standards, maybe it is, because if you look at some of their guns, they are tens of thousands of dollars. So the fact that this comes in the mid sixes is all right, relatively speaking, but still very, very expensive. Most people are not going to pay this for a firearm. I would also say, if I was not a person who collected, if I wasn't a collector and I was just looking to buy kind of the best shooter for the price, this would not be the gun that I would go with. It's a great gun, don't get me wrong. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, but I think at this price point, there are certainly as good, if not better, guns out there. So all in all, for affordability, we're going to give this gun a 2 out of a possible 5. All right, fam. Next up, flex. Is Instagram gonna go crazy, or your boy's gonna be like, damn? I think so, fam. Look, the fact that it is a Cabot 2011 in and of itself is a flex. And I think the gun is attractive. I love the way the grip looks. There's just so many amazing guns that are in this price range that it kind of affects the way I view the gun. But aesthetically, I think it's pleasing. Like I said, it's a Cabot 2011 that in and of itself is a flex. So flex points, we're going to give it 4 out of a possible 5. All right, fam, you add all that up, you get a whopping 90 out of a possible 100. The Cabot Insurrection has reached grail gun status. When I think about the guns that have kind of hit that 90 number, this gun makes a lot of sense coming in at, I thought it was going to be kind of in the high 80s, maybe crack 90. I scored it and didn't even add it up to see where it was until I had already done each and every category. So kind of where I thought it would be. I think 90 is a fair score for this gun. Look, 2 boxes checked. Added another grill gun to the collection and checked a box in the collection by adding a Cabot. So from that perspective, I am tickled pink. So like I was saying, fam, kind of to wrap my thoughts up on the Insurrection, I think it's a very good gun. It is well constructed. It is accurate. It's a good shooter, a flat shooter. It's an all-steel gun, so it's a heavy gun. So just be cognizant of that. If you're thinking about purchasing one, I would just say it depends on why you're buying it. If you want a Cabot in your collection, if you think the gun is aesthetically beautiful, if you are a 1911 guy and you want to dip your toe into the double stack 1911 pool, this would be a great gun for you to do it with. But like I said, if you're just trying to get the best bang for your buck, I don't know if the Cabot Insurrection would be the gun that I would choose. I think there are a lot of guns that are kind of 7,000 and less that are just as good, if not better, for potentially less money. Specifically, I'm thinking about like the Cardinal G2 Arms Ported, the Race City Defense, Mob 1, and others. So look, I'm happy to have it in my collection. No regrets. Like I said, phenomenal shooter. It's just in my collection there's a lot of competition. Right? There's a lot of competition. So I don't know how many rounds will go through the Cabot on a go-forward basis. I'm sure I'll take it out and shoot it from time to time because it's a blast to shoot. But again, happy to have it in my collection. All right, fam. That's it for this episode. Until next time, as always, take care of one another and peace.